Hello, good evening, GPG family. This is Dino Alvanos right now from Illinois in the Chicago suburbs. I hope you're all well. So it's gonna be an amazing evening for the next hour. I have the honor to share it with you. And it's always a wonderful thing. I'm also looking if everyone can see me, and Aaron says I can be seen. That's amazing, fantastic. That's great. And I see there are more and more viewers coming on, and we will be starting soon. And tonight will be a perfect evening to talk about the 860 system, the 860 club. And you might have heard that I was just on a 3-week tour through Europe, basically with the 860 tour. And yeah, as I said, it's gonna be my pleasure now to share with you what we are doing in Europe. Okay, and it's time for North America, for our North American team, yeah, to do that as well. How about that? Should we do that? Okay, great. So as I said, we're gonna have the next hour together, and what I'm just checking one more time. Aaron says perfect, can see you, fantastic. So let's get started. Okay, so before I go into the slideshow, because I have slides that I prepared for all of us, I'm gonna be just sharing with you why I decided to do the 860 and what it is all about. Because actually, it's not something special that I reinvented the wheel or something like this. And you know that in network marketing, this is never really good, because we have an amazing leadership with the Global Partners Group. And you know what? These guys have so much experience that whatever they actually taught us so far, it is exactly right. So we do not need to reinvent the wheel. However, you know, with our compensation plan that we have with Jeunesse, there was a little thing that I was able to add on what we actually teaching already for the last years. And what we were teaching with the Global Partners Group is that we basically have to build executives. Right? I mean, this is something that we have heard all the time. And you can also remember that we were talking always with the Global Partners Group about 90 days. And what we're talking about 90 days is that I remember so well that Kathy Robbins and Paula was teaching that when we were talking, develop executives every week. And actually over the next 90 days, basically every 30 days, advance to the next rank, which is Jade, Pearl, and Sapphire. Okay? So this is the base. This is the base that we actually started with. Okay? That I started with. The only thing is that I added a number to it, which you will see. And what I'm going to share with you is something like a goal. Okay? So the whole idea about it is to make it as simple as possible for you, for us as a team. And in addition to this, you know, to have only one goal that everyone just can follow, and to be duplicatable, because that is what it is about. As soon as you make it too complicated, people are going to be like, oh, okay, they're going to tune out as much as they wanted. They're going to be afraid of it. So, but if we can make it as easy as possible, why not? So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to switch over to the slides. I'm going to share the screen with you, and we're going to take it from there. Okay? So let's get started. Okay. I hope you can see it, but I'm sure you can. And as you can see, our wonderful, wonderful GPG Advantage logo, the Global Partners Group. And I have to share with you one thing that I always, always, always do is I always share. I start a presentation with the Global Partners Group and I finish a presentation. Whenever I talk, it doesn't matter if it's a training, it doesn't matter if it's a business opportunity. Every conversation that I have, I always have the Global Partners Group there, because I mean, hands down, we are the group that actually explains the business and how it works. And I can only suggest to every one of you to do exactly the same. And beside that, I think we have a wonderful logo. So we should be very, very proud of it. So the moment now that I go actually on, just a second, now it wouldn't. Of course, I checked all the time, everything here to that everything was happening. Just a second, just a second. Let me see if the slides are working from now. Screen sharing stops. Of course, we did it so many times with Erin, it worked perfectly, but now it's not doing. Let's try again and see if it works this time. I'm sorry, guys. So let's see. I think now it's working. I think it's not working. Okay, fantastic. Work smarter, not harder. This is always my motto. And, you know, it is not that I'm saying that, you know, what we're doing is easy. I'm not saying that you don't have to work. You have to work a lot. You have to put, like in every other business, and it doesn't matter if you do it part-time or if you do it full-time. It only means that you have less hours if you do it part-time, okay? However, I always believe in a philosophy that you always should work smarter and not harder, right? How can you be as efficient as possible? So, as I said, the 860 was always based on a fundamental that's called to have one goal, okay? So, but beside that, in the, you know, when you think about work smart, not hard, right? It needs to be an efficient target. It needs to be something that the whole team, that everyone has the same benefits out of it. Okay, they have to gain the same thing, the same benefit. So it needs to be an efficient target. It needs to be the same target for everyone. Okay, for everyone, so we can use it really as a leverage. In addition to that, it needs to be duplicatable, as I talked about earlier. If it's not duplicatable and it's too complicated, it ain't gonna work, okay? So we need to have it done so that it's duplicatable. And in addition to this, it needs to be easy to train others. So these were the reasons why I thought about the 860, okay? Again, it is all based on what we have trained with the Global Partners Group already. It's just a couple of tweaks here and there that we did. But these are the fundamental things. Efficient target, same target for everyone. It is duplicatable and it's easy to train others. So let's start step by step and go through the system to see what it is all about. First of all, you have to enroll with a package of minimum 100 CV, which I think all of us did, the ones that are already here on this training. So when I say 100 CV, it's, you know, the basic package. Of course, it can go higher. Whatever you choose was, and whatever was the right package for you. This is definitely something, another fundamental, right? Then you have to enroll in the authorship of minimum 60 CV. That means you have to choose the product that you do not want to miss in your home, Okay, and now I'm actually using something that Rolando is using when he was talking about from Cyprus about auto ships, and I love it so much because it is so true. Choose a product for your auto ship that you do not want to miss in your home. You know, something that you just need to have every month, and of course, it needs to be a minimum of 60 CV. All right. So the next step is you need to enroll 2 new partners in your first week with exactly minimum 100 CV each, which is equivalent to a basic package. Okay? What does it mean if you enroll 2 new partners in your first week? That would mean that you are an executive, right? I think we know that already. So we in our binary tree have to build right from the beginning 2 teams, a left team and a right team. So Carrie Dean, my sponsor, always talks about, you know, it's like a Christmas tree. You are the star on the top, you have a left team and a right team. By doing exactly that, becoming yourself an executive with, you know, enrolling 2 new partners, one on your right, one on your left, means you become an executive. So this is something that is absolute essential, okay, to proceed with this. And why, you will see now. Because now the next step is that you have now to help your 2 new partners to do exactly the same. So how could you train others to do something if you haven't done it before, right? It's pretty logical. So for that reason, you have first to do it in order to know how to do it. And then you actually can teach others to do exactly that. And for that, you have to be an executive. And now you can help your 2 new partners to do exactly the same. So help your new partners to become executive. That is it. If we want to build a solid and sustainable business, and you guys know that we at the Global Partners Group, we're not just building our team to show off. We are building teams to last. We are one of these groups that really mean everything that we're training. And we don't train anything that we don't know that it works. Okay? So we do that in order to have a solid and sustainable business. It's a business that you can heritage to your children or whoever you want in the future. It's not something that's going to last, you know, as Judy always says, you know, we don't build a business made, you know, a house of cards. It's going to be a very, very solid business. And for that, you need executives. And if you can duplicate that, and it goes deep and deeper and deeper into your organization, you will realize that, you know, it's going to be the strongest foundation that you can ever imagine, that nothing actually can shake it. So, and this means for new distributors, but also for existing distributors. And I'm gonna say a little bit more about the existing distributors a little further down into the training, into the presentation. Okay, so let's continue by helping our new partners to become executives. So let's look at week 1. We were talking about a 90-day plan. Okay, you remember the Global Partners Group. Once again, I'm repeating it. We were talking and teaching that every month, every 30 days, you should advance to your next rank. The first week you become, you know, as soon as you enroll, you should become within the first week, you should become an executive. But after that, you know, your week start, your 90 days start for you to advance to Jade, to Pearl, and to Sapphire. Okay, so whatever I'm going to show you now should not be something new, and neither it is new for the 860, but I'm going to go through it. So you develop in your first week your first executive. And as you can see, I have here minimum 100 CV for each new business partner, which again, I like to be a conservative guy here. I don't want to overpromise, okay? But you all know, people, not everyone is joining just with the basic, not everyone is joining just with the supreme package, not everyone is joining with the ambassador package. So it's a healthy mix of everything. And if it is not that way, you should really look into your business. So it should not be just, one package that people will start. It should be a healthy mix. However, in my calculation, I kept it very conservative. And as you can see, I talk here always about a minimum of 100 CV. So week 1 accomplished, we have an executive. Week 2, a new enrollee, a new direct enrollee, and we help this enrollee to become as well an executive by having his left and right team established and developed. Week 3, exactly the same. Everyone is just enrolling. We help our direct person to become an executive. And week 4, exactly the same. It's gonna happen. And here we are. As you can see now, we have 4 directs in our first line and 8 in our second level, which ends up to have 12 people. Okay? So now what is also very important is to place our executives and our people the correct way in our binary tree. Okay? So you have to place minimum 1 executive on one side of your binary tree and the rest on the other, of course, in order to become, because what happens if you do exactly that? You have 4 executives, 4 personal executives, and 1 executive minimum is on one side of your binary tree. Exactly, you're becoming a Jade executive. So what does it do now? By becoming a Jade executive, you rank advance. That's the first thing. The second thing is you're actually a great example for your team, because your team is looking at you and say, hey, I want to do this as well, because you get recognized, they see it works. So by enrolling 4 direct people, you got a first order bonus. By helping them becoming executives, they create points. By setting them perfectly into your binary tree, and I'm talking always about the 1/3 and 2/3 rule, which is, when we get paid in our compensation plan, we need to do, in order to make one cycle, to fulfill one cycle, we have to have 300 points on one side, 600 points on the other side, which totals to 900. But the ratio needs always to be 1/3 on one side, 2/3 on the other side. So for that reason, what is important is you have 4 direct people. As I said, you get an FOB for that. But in addition to this, by placing your people correct according to the 1/3, 2/3 rules, you're actually now also starting to cycle through the volume that you are creating. And now something else happens as well. Because you're a Jade, and this is the first leadership level, you actually opened up an additional bonus, which is the matching bonus. So every time now your first line actually creates a cycle and gets a cycle, fulfills a cycle, you get at least 20% of that in addition, right? So congratulations, you're a Jade executive. Let's go on. Let's do the next 30 days. Number 2, okay? So week 5, we develop an executive. Week 6, we develop an executive. Week 7, we help out our personal first liner to create an executive. Week 8, we do exactly the same. So now you might say, oh, that sounds like always the same. Exactly. It's exactly the same. That's what it is. Our business is all about consistency. It's all about doing something over and over again. but do the right thing over and over again. That's the most important part about it. Okay? So by doing that and have a minimum of 2 executives on one side of our binary tree, you're absolutely right. We become a pearl. But now, have a look. Becoming a pearl, once again, we are a great example for our team. It works. We opened, you're absolutely right, we opened now the second matching bonus level. That means the first one, we get 20%. The second one, we get now 15%. So every time our second level is cycling, we get 15% of matching bonus, right? So besides all that, you got also first order bonus because you entered another 4 new personals, right? So now we ended up on 8 personals that are all executives. So let me ask you that. What happens if you have 5 personal that are on auto-ship in your first row? What it means? Exactly, you're right. Your matching bonus for your first line goes from 20 now to 25%, right? Because you have 8 now. So during your second 30 days, where you had your run to pearl, you actually increase the percentage of your first level matching bonus. I don't know if you see something that's happening here. All we were saying at the beginning, we were saying that the one goal is to create executives every week. But what happened now on the way is that we have rank advanced, we have, of course, made money, we have cycled, and we have created and opened up additional bonus levels with our matching bonus. So do you realize that we're basically explaining our compensation plan through this 860, or just by doing one thing, by having only one goal? A new person, we're always saying is become an executive yourself, and then help your people to become executive. Bring a new person in for yourself and help them become an executive every week. That's our job. And on its own journey, what happens is that the whole compensation plan option S basically unfold itself in its best way, in its most efficient way. So work smart, not hard, right? But another thing happens parallel. We are now in our second 30 days run, for our pearl, and we just made pearl. What happened with the people that we developed in the first week? You're absolutely right. Exactly, that's what's happening. So if they're duplicating exactly the same way what they're being taught, because they don't know anything else, they're just being taught to do exactly that. One goal means that there is a big chance that they also, while you advancing to pearl, that they will advance to jade. What does it make to your binary tree? Do you have more and more and more people? What does it do to your personal enrollment tree? More and more people are getting into your organization. And you remember when we were saying about, what we are doing at the Global Partners Group is we really build the real business here, a solid foundation, a sustainable business. You might be able already to see what it means. But let's go to the third run, to the third week of 30 days. And not the third week, the third month. Sorry, the third month. So week 9, 10, 11, and 12. Guess what? Every week we develop one new executive. One new executive. We have a personal, and we help them to become executive. We have a personal, we help them to become an executive. That is it. So what happens when we do that? If we place minimum 3 executives on one side of our binary tree, You're absolutely right. What happens is we are becoming a Sapphire executive. And we all know that a Sapphire executive is one of these positions and ranks that actually determine now what is going to happen. For me, my jeunesse business, and I'm going to tell you, if you are following this system and the fundamentals of creating and developing executives and duplicate exactly that, I cannot tell you how strong your business will be. But in addition to this, your team, I mean, if you think about 12 executives, that would mean 12 personals, and each 12 of them have two. Okay, we're talking then about 24 in our second level. That would mean 36 people. But if you do it now the way that I said it from the beginning, because now your first 30 days people and your second 30-day people are also advancing to Jade and Pearl, they are also there. So all of a sudden your team goes already several levels down. More than 2 and 3 levels. They're going down. Because there is exactly, you taught them something and they hopefully continue to do exactly this. So what does it mean? It means not only are you receiving more matching bonus, because you're absolutely right. As a Sapphire executive now, we open the third bonus level, right? The third matching level, which is 10%. Every time our third level is cycling, we get 10%. But on our way to Sapphire executive in our third month, we actually had 10 personal that are on auto-ship, okay? Which means, hopefully they're all on auto-ship, but it doesn't matter. Even if they just purchased something for 100 CV, okay? They are counting for us in order to be most efficient with our first matching level. That means now we have 10 personals that increases once again another 5% from 25 to 30. And here you go once again. What happens is, by following the system and doing exactly that, you are the highest efficiency for the whole compensation plan. Your matching bonus now went from 20 to 30%. You're cycling constantly because your cycles will be there, because your people are creating volume on your left and your right, because you place them according to the 1/3 and 2/3 rule. Okay? In addition to this, you're creating executive duplication is going on. For your team, you are the best example. You have reached in 90 days, by finishing your 90 days, as Sapphire executive. But beside that, you have people in your team that became Jade and Pearl, and they're all becoming executives, and they are on their way to become Sapphires. So what do you think the messages that your people and your team receives from that? Exactly. They receive, it is working. It is working. And that is exactly what you want also people to see. And it's the truth. But the truth is, we have to do the right thing over and over and over and over again. And that is it. So let's talk, because here we're talking constantly about a new partner, right? So what happens is, you make minimum 300 CV per week. If we take it by 4 weeks, it is 1,200 CV. Then we count the at least 60 CV from our own auto-ship, which, if you sum it up, it's 1,260 CV per month for one person. Once again, after 30 days, you rank advance to Jade. After 60 days, your rank advances to Pearl. After 90 days, your rank advances to Sapphire. You're maxing out on your first level matching bonus from 25 to 30%. And something that it doesn't show here, and I don't know why, is that you are cycling. That's what's happening. So let's talk about our existing partners that have already personal distributors. Well, and before I read what you see here in the slides, is what I love about this business is that it doesn't matter how long you're in the business. It doesn't matter what happened in the past. Our Paula Pritchard always says that there's nothing that 20 new people cannot fix in your business. Kathy Robbins said this morning, all you need to do is your future starts tonight or tomorrow. You can actually push the start button now, and your next 90 days work from then. It doesn't matter what happened in the past. So if you are an existing partner with personal distributors, what I would suggest is that you go, in your first line and see, okay, who is maybe not an executive? Can I help this person now, to become an executive? Can I reignite their passion for that? Or if there is an executive already, go and talk to them, teach them exactly the system, and let them create now exactly the same thing and duplicate that. And of course, what we never need, we cannot afford to stop recruiting ourselves. And I know it for myself very, 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 very well. It is very simple to get into the mode of managing things, but I tell you, out of my own experience, it doesn't run very well with the business. So for that reason, you definitely have to go on and recruit for yourself. So once again, I'm repeating Paula Pritchard, there is nothing that you cannot fix in your business with 20 new people. So just follow the system over the next 90 days and recruit a new person and help this new person to become an executive. So for existing distributors that have personal distributors already, that have not been yet an executive, okay, you will get minimum 200 CV, because in order to fulfill this little triangle, you have this person already here, one left, one right, minimum with 100 CV means 200 CV. If I take this now per 4 weeks, it's 800 CV. Plus my own 60 CV from my own authorship means 860 CV per month. Yay! This is where this name 860 Club has been born. This is exactly where it comes from. Okay? And this is the magic number. And I'm going to explain to you why in a minute. So after 30 days, we rank advanced to Jade. After 60 days, we rank advanced to Pearl. After 90 days, we rank advanced to Sapphire. And once again, we're maxing out on the first level matching bonus from 20 to 25 to 30. And of course, we're building a solid business, and we are cycling. Beside, of course, the first order bonus and everything, that is always a very, very nice thing to have. So as you can see, it doesn't matter if you're an existing partner or if you're with personal distributors already, or if you're a brand new partner. The system is the same. We all have to do the same work over and over again because it's the right thing to do. All right? So now maintain every month the following. Once again, because we have to hear it many times before it really settles into our mind, develop one new executive per week. Stay a qualified Sapphire, which means 12 executives once you reach the rank. Maintain your own authorship at minimum 60 CV. and then have minimum 860 CV with your first line per month. So now, let me explain this to you. Because of course, in theory, it sounds wonderful to have every week an executive. And yes, I cannot read your mind, but I know exactly what you're thinking. Thank you, Dino. You know, it's not possible to have every week an executive. Well, I have to say, actually, it is possible if you really set your mind and this is your goal and you don't stop for your week till you have done that. However, let's say you didn't make it, okay? You were not able to do 4 executives in 1 month. You were able to do only 2 or 3 executives. All right, but what you should have for sure is 800 CV plus your own 60, which means 860, with your first line in per month. Okay, once again, what you need to have is minimum. This should be your absolute goal. You didn't make it with all your executives. However, you had a new customer or you had something that you resold, whatever. Your goal should be that within a month, by the last day of the month, you should have 800 CV with your first line plus 60 CV from your own authorship, which should be 860 CV. If you do this, clap yourself on the shoulder and said, okay, I did that. Once again, I'm saying it, do not say, okay, this is what I'm going to do every month, because this is not it. You know, you will not build anything deep if, and a big business, you will not grow a big business if you just do the points. But do a great combination, keep it in balance. Points and new partners, points and new partners, executives and new and points. That should be it, okay? So let me see now where to see the numbers. And this is something that I found very, very important. Everyone that knows me knows that I am very much into numbers. And I don't like when people say, oh, it's not important to know, you know, where the reports are or the compensation, what the compensation plan is all about. I think that's extremely wrong, because every business owner needs to know their numbers. There's not one business owner that I know that is a serious business owner where the business is running well that don't know their numbers. And it doesn't matter if you're part-time or full-time again. Even if this is your side business, you need definitely to know your numbers. And it's a very simple thing, you know, for us, because with this 860 system, you need to work, and you heard me several times say that, you need to work with your first line, with your personal, with your directs. And that's all I'm asking you for. I'm asking you not, you know, to go deep in 2, 3, 4 lines at this moment. Right now, I'm asking you for the next 90 days to only work with your first line. And the numbers for that you can see in your back office. So log into your back office, go to reports, click on sponsorship, and then look up the numbers under current CV. It's pretty much in the middle of this report. So you see on the left column, you see all the usernames of your personal sponsored people, and then you see, you know, the date, when they entered, what, you know, if they're on authorship or not. But in the middle of it, it's a column that's called current CV, and I'm going to show you an image in a moment. So what you need to do is, of course, over the month, observe it, you know everything, know all your numbers of them. But on the last day of each month, you need to actually sum it up and add them up. And as you can see now in this red square where I have these points, what you need to do is to, you know, add them up and they need to add up to 800 minimum, plus the 60 minimum CV from you. And you know, I know that most of us have actually 2 products at least, you know, but again, I want to be conservative. Let's talk only about 60 CV. So if you do this, once again, you have 800 plus your 60 and you hit the 860. Fantastic. Pat yourself on the shoulder and say, well done. All right. In conclusion, once again, we said the fundamentals, the absolute fundamentals. Choose your starter package. Choose your authorship product of minimum 60 CV. Develop 1 new executive every week. And if this is not possible to do it every week, at least produce minimum 860 CV, including your own authorship per month. And another thing that I think is the most important thing is, do I have fun with it? So it needs to be fun. And I actually remember a call that I had with, that I asked Paula. I don't know if she remembers, but I was complaining about something, and she said, well, you know, the first thing that you need to know is, are you having fun? If you don't have fun, don't do it. And that's why I put this in here, because guys, I'm going to tell you one thing, I'm going to share it with you. And you know, the feedback that I got from team members in my team that are really using the 860 system and it really works for them, is that they have a lot of fun with it. You know, they have fun because you know, they see results. They see that people get it. They see that people have this one goal that they can follow. This question of what do I do next doesn't occur anymore that often. You know, actually you can, you know, it doesn't need to occur at all, because all this new person needs to know is, after, you know, establishing these fundamentals, is develop 1 new executive every week. And everything else will fall in place anyway, because, you know, we have our trainings, the GPG, we have Momentum, where they can hear everything about, you know, the compensation plan. But with the 860 system, excuse me, I lose a little bit of my voice, I'm getting a little hoarse. What happens is they actually will start to experience and feel what the compensation plan is, because they will always experience another thing unfolds in front of them by actually following only one goal: develop a new executive per week. And by the end of the month, if you were not able to do it, at least have a minimum of 860 CV. So that is about it. So when I'm going to show you a couple of examples, and maybe you want to write it down and you want to, you know, yeah, write it down. It's very simple, because when you write it down, you know, it is something that will anchor much more into your mind, and then you know how to do it for yourself. Because the one thing that the 860 does, for me, for the team, and what was, you know, one of the main ideas behind it, was to have one goal that we as a team, as one unit, go for, really follow it, really aiming it. And you know, I'm not silly. I do know that not everyone will hit it. However, one thing that was very interesting, and I was actually pretty astounded by it, was when I analyzed my numbers, I realized that the same amount of people that actually hit the 860, there was the same amount of people that didn't quite make it, but they got very close. And by very close, I mean, you know, maybe it is 700, maybe it's 600, maybe at 550. So let's say an average of 600 points per person. And then there was another level, a tier of people that actually in the group that said, you know, for whatever reason, I reached only 300 points. But maybe you can visualize it, like visualize a goal in front of you, okay, and make a circle around it. And now you have an arrow, and the tip of the arrow are the people that hitting the 860 and more. And that's another phenomenon. You know, people don't stop at 860. There are people that do 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 individual people. That's the crazy thing about it, you know. And then, you know, when you go a little further back from this arrow, you know, away from the tip, there is this group that nearly made it. Okay, they were very close. They're gonna make it the next month. So, and then there's another group that it's on its way, you know. But this arrow, of course, coming towards you becomes always a little wider. But one thing is that this arrow, this triangle, let's say, this pointed triangle, this pointed arrow, all go into one direction to this goal. And this is where you as a team, or we as a team, become so strong. There is no guessing, second guessing, what is my goal? Is it this? Is it that? No, it's to develop one executive per week. And it doesn't matter if you're new, it doesn't matter if you do it as a side business, it doesn't matter if you do it as a full-time business, it doesn't matter if you're an existing distributor and you're already a year in the business, or 3 months, or 2 years in the business. It doesn't matter. It is always the same. But you know what? It's the right thing. It's the right thing to do. Not selfishly just for you, but for your whole team and your partners to be. That's what it is. And that's our responsibility that we take on when we become a sponsor. We're not just a recruiter. The recruitment is the easiest part of our business, to find a new person. The real work starts exactly the minute once they're enrolled and they're called and we welcome them as our new partner. This is where our job started. This is where we become the sponsor. This is where we get the responsibility. And our responsibility as the Global Partners Group and as individuals and, you know, part of this Global Partners Group is to actually show them the way, to duplicate it and to be as successful as they can be and make it as simple as possible for them. Because it's not gonna be easy, but let's not make it even more complicated. So in addition to this, what the 860 will do is if you're an existing but also a new partner, you will realize very quick who the partners are that you can rely on. It functions as a filter with whom to spend time with, and maybe people you should not spend so much time with. You know, it doesn't mean that you don't like them. Don't get me wrong. We love everyone. We love everyone at the point where they are right now, because we never know what is going on in their lives. But people that run with the 860, well, these should be people that you should focus on, because they mean it. They're ready to run with you. Once again, they're the people that go into the same direction that you go. And this is the people, you know, that you should work with right now. And the others might be ready when they're ready. Might be in 30 days, might be in 3 months, might be in a year. It doesn't matter. The most important thing is that they know exactly that system, to follow it, you know, and do over and over the same things. So there's so much to say about it, but there's another thing that I want to show you as a result. Okay, how can it look like? And the other thing is, you remember when I was talking about the 1/3 and 2/3 rule. So you will see this 1/3, 2/3 rule here on the next slide that I'm going to show you. which are going to be some numbers, some examples for you. And you can use this formula, which you will see is so simple, for many, many things. You can use the variables, you know, to strategize how much income you want to have, when you want to reach what, how big your team wants to be, you know, you want it to be, in which period of time. You will realize that the 860 system, the system, is also going to be a recruiting tool for you. Because now all of a sudden you will understand the numbers. You will understand what it means for you, what it could mean for your business and the future. So that will and should make you actually more secure and more solid in your business. So when you go and talk to a business person that maybe you were not, you know, very comfortable with talking before with, now you can do it, because actually you become stronger with this business because you know the numbers and you know what this business can give you as a result and where your journey will go. That is the difference. That is the difference. So let's just get started and look at it, okay? So I'm gonna show you 3 examples, and and each example will go a little higher and higher, okay? But let's start with the first example. So look how effective it is in your team. So in our first example, let's say you have 10 distributors on one side and you have 5 distributors on the other side. It doesn't matter if it's a left or right, okay? But as you can see, when I talk about distributors, that does not mean that they need to be all personals. They can be also, I mean, when we look at our binary tree, they're not all personals, right? There are also people from our team, from, you know, the executives that we have developed. So as you can see, that means 2/3 on one side, the 10 distributors, and 1/3 is on the other side, which are symbolizing and showing up as the 5 distributors. 10 distributors, let's say the 10 distributors make 860 CV, that equals to 8,600 CV on one side, and the 5 distributors that do the 860 CV are 4,300 CV. So if we total this, it's going to be a 12,900 CV. Now, divide, since we have the perfect ratio of 1/3, 2/3, which is perfect for our compensation plan, if we divide it by 900 CV, that means, you know, a little bit up rounded, you know, 15 cycles, actually 14 point something, let's say 15 cycles. We all know that per cycle we get $35. So do the math for yourself. What would it mean if we have 15 cycles every month? Because I have on one side 10 people that do the 860 and 5 on the other side that make the 860. So this is the reason. And you will have a number, and I'm not going to talk about the number. You can see it, you can calculate it for yourself. 15 times 35, okay? But Paula Pritchett said once, people that make this number, it's a little bit of a magic number. They will never stop this business, because this is a great amount already to have. And we're talking here only about one type of bonus that we're talking about. You know, we have 6 different ways, but we're talking only about one here, okay? And see how efficient it is. You can see this. But what you can also see is how important it is to follow the principles of 1/3, 2/3. And to be quite honest with you, for the existing distributors that might have already a leg that is a little bit stronger than the other one, I urge you actually to still consider, by starting the system, starting your next 90 days and strategize your next 90 days to actually follow the 1/3, 2/3 rule. Just for for the sakes of having a very solid business. You never know what can happen down the road. By building that way, and as I said at the very beginning of our training, we have our job and our businesses to build two legs, a left team and a right team. That is it. Whatever comes from the top, is a gift. Our business is one left team, one right team. And because of our compensation plan, I urge you, my suggestion is follow the 1/3, 2/3 rule and establish that. Establish this. So let's just now go a little bit more crazy and let's talk about a second example. Okay? And once again, whatever I'm going to show you here, whatever I'm showing you here, it is not only your personals. It's, your team is working, is building. So let's say you have 30 distributors on one side and 15 distributors on the other side. That means 2/3 on one side, 1/3 on the other side. 30 people times 860 gives you 25,800 CV. 15 times 860 gives you 12,900 CV. A total of 38,700 CV. Divided by 900 means 43 cycles. 43 cycles times 35 US dollars. Calculate it. Just calculate it. And now we go the third example. Again, let's go crazy. Let's talk about 100 distributors. I mean, we were talking about at the beginning when we were talking about the 90 days, we were talking about how many people, by developing executives, how deep your business can go right away. And now I'm gonna actually, let's just dream and think we have 150 distributors in total. Placed 100 on one side, 50 on the other side, which will total at 129,000 CV, which will give us 143 cycles times 35. Look at this number now. Like, how much can this change? How much can it change not only your life, how much can it affect your family? I know it will affect my family, and it affects my family big time in many, many ways. And you know what? The thing is, there is no obstacle. And this is just the most normal thing to have in a business. There is no business out there that doesn't have an obstacle, or where you have your success rate goes like straight like this. There's nothing like this out there. There is nothing like this out there. A business is a business with its ups and its downs. But what we have to focus on is to be as efficient as possible. Not only for us, but also take our responsibility as a sponsorship that we have as a sponsor and give our people exactly the right tool in our hands. And, I don't know about you, but, and maybe you can see me now. I don't know about you, but I'm the proudest that I can be to be a Global Partners Group member. I said this morning, and this afternoon we were talking to our international Sapphire group and above, that I'm a GPG child. I learned everything from this wonderful, wonderful leadership. And I will do everything that it takes to pass it on to my team, to our GPG family all around the world. And once again, you know, guys, we do it the right way. So let's start every presentation and let's finish every presentation, every conversation that we have, every training that we have. Let's start with the GPG and end with the GPG. Okay? So we got to the hour, and I have to share with you one more time. It was absolutely a thrill for me to be here. It's an honor for me to able to share the 860 with you. Whatever your question is, you know, reach out to your upline Sapphire, you know, or to your upline Ruby, you know, and above, and or reach out to me directly, whatever you want, and I will be more than happy to give you the answer. I wish every one of you a wonderful evening. Thank you for joining us here. Thank you for spending, you know, valuable time here. And we wish you, and I wish you, the very best of success. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Bye-bye, everyone.